Hey everybody, this is Rob Keens of goldsilverpros.com. It is August 17th, 2021. And today, as promised, I'm going to bring you another review of a mining stock. About 50% of my email and of my viewers like to do the mining stock reviews. These are free, so I definitely do these for the people that follow that. We have two main sweet spots that we look at. We look at the companies that have established resource estimates that are about to go into production or about to make a mine decision. That's a sweet spot on the Lassonde curve. The other sweet spot is getting into an early stage explorer that has found something that looks like it has a lot of room to run. That's the other sweet spot on the Lassonde curve. So that's where we focus. This one is going to be an earlier stage project where they've got a really good story, a really good district, good management team. They've got some early exploration results, and it looks like they could have potentially a really, really big project if things work out as they think that they do, based upon the research that they've done and a nearby mine. We'll get into that here in a moment. It's going to be Starr Peak Mining that we're going to go over. I'll bring you that information here in a moment, but I wanted to bring you some information on how undervalued the mining sector is. I showed a chart last week of the Huey and the GDX indexes when compared with gold, and showed that those had never recovered like gold had during gold's last bull run up to 2070, and those indexes are undervalued to gold. And I've got some other charts for you that show you how badly the mining indexes are undervalued to gold. Here, an incrementums report and the Ungold We Trust report, a great report. They do the Bloomberg Gold Mining Index to the gold ratio. This is the best place I know to get this, and the median is about 1.43. Right now it's trading below 1, which means it is undervalued, dating back all the way to 1950. So if you want to know how undervalued the gold mining index is to gold itself, look at this BGMI gold ratio. This comes out basically every year in the incremental report. Or if you have access to a trading terminal, you can recreate this by looking at the BGMI and then gold and then graphing it yourself. But this is an historic low. This is basically a 70-year low on the gold mining index. Now, the gold miners have started to come up a little bit. You see that they hit a trough here about 2015. They came up a little. They've come up a little this year since 2020 into 2021, but they're still historically undervalued. 70-year undervaluation. So for those of you looking for value in the gold space, the gold mining index really is it. The physical, of course, we think is a big value, but the gold mining index is so undervalued, we expect the returns on that over gold to be pretty stark over the next few years, which is why we like to look at the gold miners and the silver miners. Also moving forward, we have the Huey price to earnings ratio, and you can see that this is at a low. It's the last, well, I hadn't got quite down to its 2013 low. So it's about at a 7 to 8 year low. And PE is price to earnings. So it means what's it valued at compared to its earnings. So it's undervalued compared to earnings. It's not even at the median 2484. And we're certainly not in a bull market, meaning the gold miners are earning now that gold is trading 1800 range that we've been in basically for the last few months. Gold is, the gold companies are making money. The average price to get gold out of the ground right now is $1,250 to $1,300, depending on jurisdiction and stuff. And so they're making $400 an ounce, somewhere around that, maybe a little bit more, depending on the individual project, maybe some $500-600 an ounce over their all-in sustaining costs, which are most of the costs it takes to get the gold off the ground, plus administrative costs. So they're trading not even at the median, but they're making money. That's why I think there's such high upside to gold miners, because they're continuing to make money. Eventually, even if gold price doesn't go up, they're going to start to rise. And you can see it. It has. It started in 2021, started to rise. Same thing we saw in the BGMI report. You see end of 2020, 2021, that gold mining index rise. Now we've got the Huey P&E ratio, meaning the prices are suppressed per their earnings that they're getting for actually selling the gold. It's got to come up. The market's got to eventually realize that, and you're going to see a bull market in gold. Here's another one. This is gold mining stocks are cheap enough to be worth having. Credit Suisse says this is a major bank that's analyzing this. This is MSCI ACWI select gold miners forward price earnings versus the ACWI. And basically you can see the average is 129% or 29% premium, and they're trading below 100%. So again, this is about another, looks like a 7-year low on this index. Just different indices that you look at from a price earnings perspective and from an overall valuation perspective to gold, as to the fact that the miners are undervalued. And that's critically important, because that means they're going to go up and they're going to overshoot, or they've got higher to go than the metals themselves. But even if the metals don't move, you could still see the gold miner index move up because they're making money. And eventually the market has to recognize it. Dollars are eventually going to flow to where money is being made in the market. I know that everybody's enamored right now with the Teslas of the world and these other tech companies and you know, some of which are making money, some of which aren't making that much. And I get it. We're in that phase of the blow off stock market. But what's going to happen is when that blow off occurs in the stock market, these are going to shoot to the upside because they've got value. When people go hunting value, they're going to come to the mining stocks. So now's a good time to get in. So that's just some general information. Now I want to talk to you about the company that I wanted to talk about, that Starr Peak Mining. Before we get into Starr Peak, one of the biggest potential just great storylines of Starr Peak Mining is are right next to a property owned by another company that's already found a good deposit and has gone up 700%. So you've got a mine right next to it. That one's gone up 700%. Starr Peak Mining thinks they've actually found the source of the deposit for this other one, and they've started to find some discovery, but they haven't shot up. Now they're trading at a healthy share price, but they haven't shot up the 700%. So in other words, a lot of room to run. And again, we're early stage exploration. So on the Lassonde curve, almost all the way to the left, a lot of room to run on that Lassonde curve before they're going to run out of steam, even though they're trading at a healthy price right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to talk about the property, not Starr Peak Mining, but the one right next to it that already had the big find that went up 700%. That's Amex. And Amex has this property in Canada. And there are some results that Amex had at their Perron property. So it says, a primary estimator in one of the zones of independent qualified person, according to 43-101 regulations, to evaluate the potential in 2009 is that they have 1,070 meters of depth interval of these resources. And they have a lot of resources in here. If you look at the grams per ton, 5.66, 9.76, 24.59, this is the stock that's already gone up, not the one that we're reviewing. So this shows that they're in a good zone. They've got a lot of resource. It's here in the 43-101 technical report. I'm not going to go fully into it because it's not the project we're targeting, but they've got it. They've proved that they've got it. They've gone up 700%. They're continuing to explore. That's Amex. Here's some of the highlights of that. The high grade zone, they've got on one of these right here, this one, Eastern Gold Zone, 100 drill holes, gold mineralization greater than 10 grams per ton gold. That's substantial. 100 drill holes that have over 10 grams per ton. The Denise zone has some particularly good holes, 115.6 meters of 1.39 grams per ton. It's a very long or wide vein that has 1.39 grams per ton. That's good. 1.07 grams per ton, 6.99 grams per ton at 32 meters. That's a lot of gold. And if we go down further into this, I'm going to go down to where they have some of the drilling highlights. If they look at the Gradian gold zone, which is another one, not the Eastern, but the Gradian, they have 67.52 grams per ton over 1.45 meters. 16.48 grams per ton over 14.6 meters, 47.69 grams per ton over 4.95 meters. And if we go down here, we've got some more stuff over here. We've got a length of 34 meters, 1.89 grams per ton, 35 grams per ton over 2 meters, 1.26 over 28 meters, 114.96 over half a meter, 91.06 over almost a meter, 23.95, 2.7 meters. So the mine right next to it, next to Starr Peak, the company we're looking at, has already sort of found their great drill results, and they're continuing to explore. And that stock Amex has gone up 700%. What we want to do is look at a property that could be very similar to it in geology, actually literally right next to it on the map, that could be actually the source the company thinks, Starr Peak thinks, of this Amex mine, meaning it could even potentially have a better resource. So let's go into Starr Peak. That's our target, Starr Peak. We know right next door, they've got the big find. Let's go to Starr Peak. So before I get into jurisdiction and the maps and why this is so important, I wanted to talk about the management team because management is critical. So the CEO has over 20 years experience in North American European capital markets. He's a business guy, history of achievement and years with Canaccord Capital. Everybody knows Canaccord Capital. If you're in the mining sector, you know Canaccord Capital. They do analysis of mines. They facilitate financing. They do a lot of things. So Canaccord's a big one. So he would know because Canaccord looks at a lot of these mines and he's got that mindset of how to do that. He's the CEO and director. Cyrus Driver is a chartered accountant, founding partner of the firm Driver Anderson since 1981. So he's a partner of the firm Davidson Company. So a very experienced accountant for the CFO position. Ron Burgoyes, a chartered accountant, 35 years of experience in resource industries, is president of Anderson County Land Company, so on and so forth. Affiliated at TD Bank, Starvest Capital. So a lot of experience in the capital market. So you're seeing all these business guys as directors. Why? Because they're not building the mine yet. So you're going to start off with the business guys. You're going to have your exploration geologists. And depending upon whether they want to spin off, you know, or sell this resource to someone else or build it, they may hire some additional expertise, but certainly they have what you need early stage exploration. Reagan Glazier worked in the global mining sector across a variety of commodities and jurisdictions for over 10 years, exploration and development. So he's been in exploration, base metals, different, precious metals, different areas of the world. British Columbia, he's a major in geology. Then you have Jacques Trottier, PhD in economic geology from École Polytechnique of Montreal. And I'm not saying these correctly because I'm not French, so forgive my pronunciation. He has 30 years experience in mining exploration. They have Yves Rougerie, a graduate. He's a geologist, graduate of Montreal's UQAM in earth sciences, and brings 40 years of experience. So they have major geological or geology experience, exploration experience, and business experience. So you look at that and say, these guys have been successful. They've done it before. Good management team, no red flags there. Now let's go to the PowerPoint presentation and let's get into a little bit more of the detail and why Starr Peak thinks that they have a really good project. So first of all is Starr Peak Exploration. They have 3 properties: New Metal, Rousseau, and Turgeon Lake. New Metal is the primary one. Rousseau and Turgeon Lake are other optional ones as well. We've already been through their management team. Stock symbol on the Toronto Stock Exchange is STE, that's the venture. On the OTC, it is STRPF for those of you in the US. Only 29 million shares outstanding, so tight capital structure right now. Market cap 56 million, that's nice and healthy. And look at this, management and stars own 40%. They believe in their own company. That's what you want early stage explorer. They haven't over diluted, really tight share structure, nice valuation, only 29 million shares, but at 56 million Canadian in valuation. That means that they're not a penny stock. They're trading nice and healthy, and management insiders own 40%, meaning people believe in the company. So it's located in the mining friendly jurisdiction of Quebec. There's one thing I want to show you about Quebec before we go further into this presentation. So I'm going to go over here to my other screen, the one where we're looking at all the indexes. And I want you guys to see, if I can get over there. There we go. So this is a ranking of the percentage total of the grams in Canada for gold, and Quebec is number 2. So if you want to talk mining jurisdiction, Quebec has over 1/3 of all the gold in Canada. And this area, and I'll show you in the presentation deck, is a very well-established area. And you're going to see some major names and some major gold finds in this area, in the green belt that they're in. But I wanted to show you they're in the right place. So good management team in the right place. Good story, mine next door has already hit 700% gain because they found a bunch of stuff. Starr Peak thinks that they've found the source of what Amex has and potentially could be better. Potentially, we don't know, but we think so based upon the geology and what they're finding. So again, in Quebec, close to the Quebec-Ontario border, New Metal has 74 claims and 2,200 hectares. Rousseau, 12 claims, 470 hectares. Turgeon Lake, 2 claims, 112 hectares. Okay, basic information there. Here is Starr Peak's properties. Because this is an existing mining belt that's had tons of exploration, they have road access adjacent to the town of Normetal, all that stuff. So they're not going to have to go build all this infrastructure. It's already there, and that's important. They can piggyback on some of the existing infrastructure. They may even be able to use an existing, if they get to the point of making a production decision, don't want to build their own mine, they may be able to use another processing facility and pay some cost on there, but save some capital expense. We don't know. That'll be a decision later, but that's optionality when you're in a big mining district like this and you're looking at a project that has a bunch of guys around you. One thing I wanted to highlight, look at this name right here. They're in the area of Kirkland Lake. Anybody recognize Kirkland Lake as a major precious metals find? Yeah, I think so. Here's the property that Amex has. Amex went up 700%. They've got this 43-101 2009 and been continuing to explore. Really good company that people like. Perron right here. Starr Peak, the company we're targeting, right next door. And they think that Starr Peak has the land that's the source of the Perron property with Amex, the first company we looked at, their precious metals. Okay, you get it? That's what we're looking for. Story stock, but not just a story stock. So it's near Timmins, Kirkland Lake, Royan, Noranda, and Val d'Or. Those are some pretty good names. Nothing to shake a stick at. Okay, Detour Lake Mine is up here. Look at all the mines in this area. Very, very rich area. It's in the Greenstone Belt. The New Metal property, Rousseau and Turgeon are over here on the side, but the New Metal and the Perron for both companies is right here in that green belt, bounded by the Normetal fault to the south. When you're bounded by the fault, that's where the metals come up in the fault, and the fault moves, and the metals get spilled out, into the surrounding sediment. And that's basically where they look for stuff, is along fault lines. So good geological anomalies here to go searching for, and good past production by other mines in the area. New Metal is immediately east of Amex. That's the one we talked about at the beginning that had, the price explosion. It includes a historic New Metal mine, which was zinc, copper, silver, gold. Remember the polymetallic mines we've been talking about for a year? Most of your new gold and silver finds are going to be found in polymetallic mines. And given the commodities boom that we're going to have in the base metals, as well as the precious metals, this is nice to also come up with copper and zinc. It's free money on the balance sheet when you come up with copper, zinc, in addition to the gold and silver that they're finding. And that's the area that they're in. So Amex's recent drill results, remember, first company that we looked at that's already had the big price bump, 44.2 grams per ton over 9 meters, so on and so forth. We showed you already some of those drill highlights. Starr Peak has the property right next that they think is the source. So the New Metal mine was discovered in 1925. It does have historic production, 10.1 million tons at 5.12% zinc, very good. 2.15% copper, very good. 45.25 grams per ton silver, pretty darn good. And a little over half a gram per ton gold, very good. Any one of those may be worth mining in itself. When you put it all together, that's a nice little polymetallic. Now in 2007, they had a drill hole that had 5.879% zinc, about 1% copper, 76 grams per ton silver, and 1.16 grams per ton gold. Notice this drill hole in 2007 is what got people interested specifically in the gold and the silver, in addition to the copper and zinc. Okay, the deposit was discovered in 1927. Historic estimate over 158,000 tons at 12% zinc and 39 grams per ton Ag. So they've got the silver and the zinc. And a 1996 drill hole, look at that number, almost 10% zinc. That's excellent. You could mine zinc by itself and be profitable at 10%, almost 10%. 2% copper, nice. 38 grams per ton silver and 11.3 grams per ton over 11.3 meters. So you're seeing the different metals in the mix there. And I could go on mineral showings at New Metals more and more and more. But the thing is, they found stuff in there historically, and they're doing some exploration now that's going to continue to find it. There's more stuff in there. They're going to talk about all the targets and all of that good stuff, all the mineral showings. But they've had some pretty good drill holes. Now, there's some additional news came out on Yahoo Finance that I wanted to talk about. August 12th, that's this year, they were pleased to announce a number of drill results from its 2021 drilling campaign on its New Metal property located in Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Anybody that knows mining in Canada knows Abitibi Greenstone Belt. The project includes past producing New Metal mine from which 10.1 million tons of all of this was produced. Today's results are high light copper rich zonation in the deep zone and upper zone in the New Metal showing. So you have 60,000 meter expanded drill program. You've got good copper showing. It's all right there in the news results. And we want to look at some other news results. So they're doing 60,000 meters on the New Metal property. That's a lot. 60,000 meters of drilling. You're going to find some stuff. Okay. And that's where previously you had the 10 million tons of the copper, zinc, silver, and gold, and they're going to continue to delineate that. Why this stock hasn't popped yet is even though they think they found the source and it's a historic producing mine, they haven't had the results of their updated drilling. The last drilling was, in the before 2010, the big drilling results. But they're starting to drill 60,000 meters. That's a lot. They're going to have a lot of drill result news. What happens to a stock when you're in an established district like this and you start hitting good drill results? A stock's going to go up. So the story is, if Starr Peak hits what Amex hit, it should have the same price potential, that 700% potential gain. We'll see what happens, but that would make sense. If Amex can do it, why not Starr Metals? And again, or Starr Peak, sorry. And Starr Peak has the metals in the ground historically. Why wouldn't they find it? So they started 40,000 meters, went up to 60,000 meters. Highest grade results on July 6th, they had some high grade results. The upper zone had 10.9% zinc equivalent, 9.1% zinc equivalent, 7.04, and that includes all the other metals. They're just putting a zinc equivalent because it's zinc dominated. But they also got areas where it's more dominated by gold and silver. Polymetallic mine, got gold and silver, got nice copper, definitely nice zinc. Copper and zinc are doing very well, by the way, in the commodities markets. So that's very positive news. And that's why we want to take a look at Starr Peak Mining. Again, two main targets for our viewers that I like to do for the mining stocks. One, they've got the established metal resource and they're about to make a mine decision. Sweet spot on the Lassonde curve, historically, for the mining companies. Second sweet spot, early stage explorer before they hit all the drill results, but again, has past production, past producing field, somewhat de-risked. They still have to get their drill results to de-risk their specific claims. but I think they're well on the way to it, and add in the story that they think they found the source of what Amex has gotten, and Amex has already popped, right? A lot of positive factors there. You know, you guys got to do your own due diligence, but there's a lot of positive factors, and that's what we're looking for. You know, are the positive factors, are finding projects that look like you can get in early and make some money. That's the name of the game in the mining stocks. This stock is up 60% in the past 6 months, 81% in the past 12 months. So they have a little bit of a bump, but not nearly what they could be. There's a recent pullback about 25%, because what happens is you see the stock go up, some people sell, it comes back down. They're about to drill. If they start hitting drill results, it's in a nice little buying area for people. It's going to pop back up. That's just normal action in the mining stock. So it could trade sideways for a while, but I'm telling you, once they hit those drill results, if they're even halfway decent drill results, akin to what you've had historically with those polymetallic deposits, zinc, copper, silver, gold, it's going back up. Why wouldn't it go back up? And if they show that they have the source of the Amex mine, the Perone mine, then Katie bar the door, because now you're talking about a serious story. And again, they're in a zone, they're in the Abitibi Greenbelt area, which is produced. You know, you've got all those established mines in a great mining district in Canada. So I don't see a whole lot of downsides for an exploration stock. Now, this is a little bit more risky than your older, you know, more mature stocks, but we have, you know, from my perspective, we as a community have to invest in exploration stocks, because this is metal on the ground that's going to come out 2, 3 to 4 or 5 years that we're going to need. And again, you have that leverage. And especially when early stage explorer, if you hit anything and start hitting those drill results, you're going to have really, really good results. And again, talked about before, the polymetallic VMSs, the volcanogenic massive sulfide deposits, rock containing multiple base metals, zinc, copper, silver, gold. You know, that's what they're finding. They're finding really good zinc. 10% zinc is good. You could mine just that zinc and do very well. But you're talking silver, gold, copper, and all of those are in bull markets. Now, gold and silver have sideways traded for a little bit, but we think they're going to go up. But even right now, silver and gold at what they're finding, and the concentration of finding, silver and gold by themselves are mineable. And then the base metals are mineable, all at profit levels we've seen in other mines. So lots of good news there. I'm searching through some other facts that I found on the project. Starr Peak is using the same geologist that found Amex Mining. That's another note that I found. So Amex Mining geologists who found that deposit, you know, that silver gold deposit, have come over to Starr Peak, and they're doing the exploration. So they believe in Starr Peak. And I think that's why you have so many people covering. I think that's why you have Canaccord covering and other analysts covering the stock, is even though it's early stage exploration, same geologists who found the Amex resource are now looking at Starr Peak, and they're starting to find similar. And again, Starr Peak is historic. So again, I don't see just a whole lot of downside. You got to do your own due diligence, but that's what we're looking for. Remember, gold and silver stocks, I showed you in charts last week and again today, undervalued in some cases. You know, if you just look at the Bloomberg index to the gold price is 70-year. And if you're talking about price to earnings ratios, it's between 5 and 7-year lows. So the mining stocks are ripe for a rise, especially when, you know, gold and silver are profitable. And you added all the other details about this stock, all the positive factors. This stock could be a good target. It's one that you probably should look at. Again, about half of my listeners and viewers want me to do mining stock reviews. That's why I do them on the channel. And I bring you these as potential targets for you to do your due diligence and decide if it's right for you. And the ones that I do, I like something about them. What spot they're in the Lassonde curve, good management teams, good district. I bring you guys good quality districts and management teams and all that stuff. And I bring you ones that looks like they have potential based upon a bunch of factors, what they're finding in the ground, jurisdiction, what the type of deposit is, polymetallic. They're so valuable right now in this commodities market boom, this early stage commodities market boom, that I think is going to continue to smash for the next 10 to 15 years. Based on world demand for what these, you know, base metals and even precious metals are going to be. So lined it up for you, good target. Look at it for portfolio. If you like it, you know, maybe you buy some stock, that's up to you. But again, wanted to bring you this one. Good positive news, another find. I think what's going to happen when gold and silver hit their next bull market, any of these quality companies that I'm bringing you, Amex, Starr Peak, and all the other ones I talked about, are all going to do well because they have value. Okay. Is it going to go up 700% the next week? Probably not. They got to get their drill results. But you line up those drill results, you start to outline that resource, gold and silver start to hit their next leg up, That's a recipe for success. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why we bring it to you, because that's what you guys want. Till next time, guys, this is Rob Kientz of Gold Silver Pros. We'll see you in a couple of days at the Money Metal Summit, August 19th and August 20th.